My sister and I got married on the same day, but it was my brother-in-law who lifted my bridal veil. Only then did I realize that my sister and my beloved had secretly switched the bridal sedan chairs behind my back. My brother-in-law was blind and frail. With a gentle nature, he softly told me, "Don't be afraid, it won't be long now, just endure a little longer." Later, I found out that when he said it won't be long, he was referring to my sister and the one I loved. My sister and I are twins. And we look about 80% alike. She has a fiery personality, bold and radiant, while I am gentle, slow to react, and quiet. Last year, the emperor issued an imperial decree for marriage, arranging two unions. My elder sister was to marry the Prince of Ning, while I was betrothed to Minit, a rising star in the court. My sister has always been fiercely competitive since childhood, striving to be the best in everything. Yet, I never imagined she would dare to act so willfully when it came to marriage. Now, in the warmth of spring, a slight heat is already in the air, but I feel as though I have fallen into an icy cellar. The Prince of Ning sat opposite me. If he discovered I wasn't my sister, tomorrow could very well be the Jiang family's last day. Deceiving the emperor is a grave crime. Whether it results in the exile of the entire clan or the execution of the whole family, it's a burden I cannot bear. My sister could be selfish, but I couldn't do the same. After everyone had withdrawn, I hesitated for a moment before rising to approach the Prince of Ning and pay my respects. "Greetings, Your Highness." Although Prince Ning could not see, he should have been able to distinguish the difference between my voice and my sister's. So he paused. "Your voice." After the engagement, Prince Ning had visited my home twice, and he remembered my sister's voice. "I've caught a cold, so my voice might have changed a bit." I made up an excuse, not daring to say more. Prince Ning did not seem suspicious, only nodding slightly. "Then rest early." My heart pounded like a drum, and my mind raced, thinking about how I could muddle through this wedding night. I had already sent someone home to inform my father, but without a reply from my family, I absolutely dared not let Prince Ning notice that the bride had been switched. Prince Ning stood up, and I went over to support him. He was very tall, with exceptionally good looks, but unfortunately, last year he suddenly fell seriously ill and subsequently lost his sight. In truth, if he hadn't lost his sight, a man as distinguished and noble as him would never have been matched with a daughter of the Jiang family like me. Of course, if he hadn't lost his sight and then fallen out of favor, my sister wouldn't have risked everything to arrange a marriage swap. "I can manage on my own," Prince Ning said to me with a smile. "You haven't had dinner yet, so I had someone prepare noodles for you. Please have some." I lowered my head and agreed. He washed up quickly, and none of the mishaps I had worried about, like kicking over the wooden bucket or chair, happened. After a short while, he emerged wearing a moon-white inner garment, his hair loosely flowing, standing in the flickering halo of candlelight, like an orchid or a jade tree, truly a noble and elegant figure, as pure as the clear breeze and bright moon. I don't quite understand why my sister wanted to exchange marriages. Although Prince Ning is blind, he is still a prince after all. No matter how promising Minit's future may be, it's not worth her risking the lives of her entire family for him. "How does the noodle taste?" Prince Ning sat by the bed, using his ears to locate my direction. "Very good," I replied with my head lowered. Prince Ning nodded slightly. "Why are you so quiet today?" My heart skipped a beat, and I casually lied. "Perhaps it's because the environment is unfamiliar, and I'm feeling nervous." He tilted his head slightly, lost in thought. Prince Ning asked me, "Did everything go smoothly with the wedding arrangements at home today?" "It went smoothly." I set down my chopsticks. "Your Highness, I'm going to wash up." I fled into the washroom as if escaping, but my heart was pounding even harder. I always felt that with Prince Ning's intelligence, he could discover at any moment that I wasn't my sister. If he found out, how should I respond? After lingering for a long time, I came out of the washroom. Prince Ning was leaning against the headboard, and upon hearing my voice, he looked toward me. I stumbled underfoot, kicking over the footstool. Prince Ning frowned and asked, "Did you kick your foot?" I covered my foot, holding back tears, and was about to answer him when he picked me up the next moment. I gasped in surprise. "Your Highness." He set me down on the edge of the bed, holding both of my feet. "Which foot? Is it hurt?" I tried to pull my foot back, but he said, "Do we need to call a doctor?" Prince Ning asked me if I wanted to call for a doctor. A sudden inspiration struck me, and I immediately followed his words. "Yes," he chuckled softly. "All right. Then I'll have a doctor come for you." I pulled my feet back, and Prince Ning also got up and sat on the edge of the bed. After a moment of silence, he suddenly asked me, "Are you afraid of me?" I feel like his tone seems to be testing me. I waved my hand, then realized he couldn't see, so I said, "Your Highness, you are famously good-tempered. How could I possibly be afraid?" He raised an eyebrow, his expression somewhat meaningful. For example, he said, "I didn't expect him to press further," and I was momentarily taken aback. "That time at Janhaeun, the waiter was careless and spilled soup on your clothes. Not only were you not angry, but you even comforted him." He tilted his head thoughtfully. "Were you there that day?" "No, I wasn't," I quickly denied. "I heard it from others. Actually, I was there that day. Not only was I there, but some unpleasant things happened as well. I just couldn't say it." The physician was announced from outside, and the Prince of Ning helped me cover myself with the quilt before inviting the physician in. The physician said it wasn't serious and that I just needed to rest and recover. It really wasn't serious. It only hurt for a moment at the time, but I hesitated, wanting to fabricate some illness to delay things until tonight. Unexpectedly, before I could speak, the Prince of Ning said, "Chief Physician Wang, please apply some medicine and bandage her wound. The weather is hot, and any open wound is prone to external pathogens." I looked at Prince Ning in astonishment, as if he knew exactly what I was thinking. Chief Physician Wang was also astute and perceptive. Not only did he bandage my toes, but he wrapped my entire left foot like a zongzi. "It takes 100 days for muscles and bones to heal. Your Highness, please rest well these days and avoid exerting force to prevent further injury to your muscles and bones," Chief Physician Wang solemnly advised me. Prince Ning also chimed in graciously, "Thank you for your hard work. I'll treat you to tea another day." "I dare not." Chief Physician Wang hurried away, looking at my foot wrapped up like a bundle. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Since you're injured, rest early." Prince Ning helped tuck the blanket tighter around me. "I'll sleep on the couch to avoid bumping your foot and harming the bones and tendons." I stared at him in astonishment, my feelings a tangled mess. That night, I barely slept, anxiously waiting for dawn, pondering several excuses to avoid going to the palace. Unexpectedly, he was the first to speak. "You're injured and can't move easily, so let's skip some of the formalities. No need to go." So, from the moment I hurt my foot last night, he had already planned what would follow. But why would he do that? I became very curious about Prince Ning. Using my injury as an excuse, my parents and elder brother came. Prince Ning exchanged a few polite words and then excused himself, saying he had matters to attend to. "Jiang Yang is truly outrageous," my father said angrily, blaming my mother. "It's all because you spoiled her, letting her act willfully and recklessly without considering the consequences." My mother was also upset, clutching her handkerchief and crying. Blaming each other won't solve the problem. I reminded them, "How is my sister doing?" Mother whispered softly, "What's done is done." I rubbed my forehead, momentarily at a loss for words. "Second sister," my brother said with difficulty, "I know you like Minachi, but given the current situation, if we force you to switch back now, what if the truth comes out someday?" "I understand. Sister and Minachi have already consummated their marriage. Asking her to return as the Princess of Ning would be too much of an insult." Putting myself in Prince Ning's shoes, I wouldn't let the Jiang family off either. We can only make the best of a bad situation, I sighed. Mother held me and cried softly. This is fate. Father, however, angrily said, what nonsense is this? Although Prince Ning has fallen out of favor, he is still a prince after all. How bad can it get? I helped my mother wipe away her tears. She was actually crying over my feelings. She felt that being betrayed by my own sister and the one I loved was a cruel fate, and she wanted me to accept it. I was indeed angry. So tomorrow, when I return to my family home, I will ask them face to face. After seeing my family off, Prince Ning didn't return until late at night. I was dozing off and didn't notice him at first. He stopped by the bedside and called out, "My lady." I sat up. "You're back, Your Highness. Have you eaten?" He breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. "Not yet. Would you care to join me for some, madam?" He seemed to be in a good mood. When the food was served, he asked if it suited my taste. My sister and I have similar tastes, both preferring lighter flavors, but my sister loves mutton, while I am picky and don't like meat, only fish and shrimp. Today, there is both mutton and fish on the table. I pick up the mutton and eat it, smiling as I say, "It's delicious." This is the second time I've eaten mutton. The first time was when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I ate it and immediately vomited, and I refused to touch it again after that. I was afraid I might vomit again today. So I quickly ate something else to settle my stomach. Fortunately, this time, I didn't throw up. Just as I was hesitating whether to eat heartily like my sister, hurried footsteps sounded from outside. Then, a small head peeked in through the doorway, with dark, bright eyes rolling around, curiously sizing me up. "Are you the 7th prince?" I asked him with a smile. The 7th prince is the younger brother of Prince Ning, 4 years old this year, 14 years younger than Prince Ning. Their mother is Consort Liang. Consort Liang has been with the emperor since his days as the crown prince. Although she is no longer favored, with 2 sons by her side, her status in the palace is second only to that of the empress. "Are you my second sister-in-law?" The 7th prince ran in, speaking in a childish voice. "Second sister-in-law, you are so beautiful." I was about to speak when Prince Ning coughed. The 7th prince hurriedly composed his expression, took 2 steps back, and bowed to me, saying, "Xian pays his respects to sister-in-law." I returned a half bow. The 7th prince naturally stayed to have a meal together. He was very talkative, chattering non-stop, lively and adorable. "Sister-in-law, what is getting married?" the 7th prince asked with a mischievous smile. I was taken aback, and he had already put on an exaggerated expression, saying, "Getting married means kissing all day long." The 7th prince pouted his little mouth. "Did you two kiss?" My face suddenly grew warm, and I glanced at Prince Ning out of the corner of my eye. He was also stunned, the tips of his ears slightly red. The atmosphere was slightly awkward. "How dare you speak to your sister-in-law like that, showing no respect for your elders?" Prince Ning rapped on the table. The 7th prince's face fell, looking as if he was about to cry. I quickly tried to smooth things over. "It's fine. He just heard some joke from somewhere. You can't spoil him, or he'll know you're kind and come pestering you every day," Prince Ning said, looking at the eager expression on the 7th prince's face. I smiled and said, "Since he's my own brother, it's fine if he clings to me. We're family. You're good to me, and I'll be good to you too," the 7th prince said, throwing himself into my arms. "Family?" I was taken aback, blushing as I glanced at Prince Ning. He was lowering his gaze to drink tea, a smile playing at the corners of his eyes. The 7th prince refused to leave, insisting that I play chess with him. Prince Ning grew annoyed and said, "We need to rest." The 7th prince went out while shouting, "Second sister-in-law, second sister-in-law, don't forget to kiss." Prince Ning covered the 7th prince's mouth. I couldn't help but laugh. Prince Ning returned and paused by the table, his voice slightly unnatural. He has always been outspoken, Please don't mind him, I won't. Children's words carry no harm, I whispered. Prince Ning tilted his head slightly, looking in my direction. Then let's rest early. We rest together. I stood up nervously, my breath a bit unsteady. Then I'll call someone to make the bed. Prince Ning smiled without saying a word. I instantly realized I had misunderstood his words, and was immediately so embarrassed that I felt at a loss. That night, Prince Ning still slept on the soft couch. Early the next morning, I removed the bandage from my foot. When the servants saw that my foot had healed, they all marveled at the miracle. Actually, I had wanted to keep up the act for a couple more days, but it was simply too hot, so I decided to stop pretending. In the morning, Prince Ning accompanied me for the third-day return visit to my parents' home. My father held a third-rank official position in the Ministry of Personnel, known as a distinguished son from a humble background, and he was upright and incorruptible. The Jiang residence was not large, with only 6 servants in the household, all of whom were loyal, so there was no fear of them spreading rumors outside. When I entered, I saw my sister and Minute Shi. My sister was dismissive of the matter, saying, "Minute Shi likes me, and I like him. Rather than having 4 people suffer, it's better to let us be together. Anyway, what's done is done. If you want me to switch back, I can, but I won't take responsibility for the consequences." Her father was so angry that he hit her. Her sister, who had always had a fiery temper, grabbed a teacup and a vase and smashed them around. Why do all the good things go to Jiang Li? What does it matter if he's a prince? It doesn't change the fact that he's blind now. Don't talk to me about the crime of deceiving the emperor. I'm not afraid of death. Whoever is afraid can take the consequences. After saying that, she glared at me again. Minute Shi likes me. It's me. Even if you marry him, he won't belong to you. Shut up. I slapped her across the face, suppressing my voice in anger. In your eyes, is it all about romance? Can you disregard the lives of your family? I grabbed her arm and dragged her out. Since you're not afraid of death, let's go find the prince right now and make things clear. Whether it's execution or dismemberment, it's all up to him. I'm not going. Let go of me. How could my sister not be afraid of death? She's the kind of person who would cry even after dreaming about her own death. In the midst of the commotion, suddenly at the courtyard gate, my elder brother entered, accompanied by Prince Ning. Prince Ning stopped in the courtyard and asked, "Madam, what's wrong with you?" I covered my sister's mouth. "Jiang Yang, if you shout one more word and let the prince notice something amiss, I'll kill you right now." My sister was frightened by my expression. I pushed my sister aside, smoothed my skirt, and went to the courtyard to greet Prince Ning. "I'm fine. My sister and her husband were just having a quarrel. It's good that you're fine." Prince Ning's furrowed brow relaxed. I helped him into the main hall and looked up to meet Minute Shi's gaze. He was staring at my hand supporting Prince Ning, a hint of disappointment flickering in his eyes. As if I were the one who had broken a promise, everyone took their seats, and except for my sister, everyone was making a great effort to chat, so the atmosphere was quite pleasant. "Is Lord Minute still at the Hanlin Academy?" Prince Ning asked casually. "Yes. Grand Secretary Yang's intention is for me to gain 2 years of experience first, then be sent out for practical training." Minute Shi replied with a hint of pride. "After 2 terms of training, I'll be able to return to the capital." I lowered my gaze to sip my tea. Minute Shi indeed had reason to be proud. He was the top scholar in the imperial examinations, a rising star in the court, and a disciple of Grand Secretary Yang, the chief minister. As long as he made no mistakes, he would undoubtedly secure a place in the court within 10 years. In fact, there are even rumors in the court that Lord Yang intends to groom him as his successor. This is also the reason my sister has taken a liking to him. Compared to being a leisurely princess, the wife of a powerful minister holds a higher status. But now I think, with Minute Shi's mind, he cannot become a powerful minister, nor will he achieve much success. Not bad. Prince Ning nodded in agreement. And what about you, Your Highness? Do you have any plans recently? Minute-Shi asked. His Majesty is planning to renovate the altar. Throughout the dynasties, it has always been the princes who supervised such projects. I wonder if Your Highness has submitted a petition to volunteer. The atmosphere instantly turned cold. My older sister gave me a smug, raised eyebrow. I am blind. Prince Ning said casually, I can't do anything. Resting well is what matters most. Minute-Shi glanced at me and added meaningfully, Indeed, Your Highness should rest more. I interrupted Minute-Shi and asked Prince Ning, Your Highness, is the soup salty? Prince Ning raised an eyebrow, immediately understanding my meaning, and replied with a smile, I am not salty. Is that my brother-in-law Xian? I looked at Minute-Shi with a half-smile. When I say Xian, of course, I mean the Xian for leisure, leisurely enough to meddle in other people's affairs. Minute-Shi's face flushed red instantly. Ning Wang curled the corner of his mouth. A faint hint of pride flickering between his brows and eyes, he tilted his head and whispered to me, My lady, I want to eat fish. All right. I focused on picking out the fish bones for Ning Wang. He rested his chin in his hand and gazed in my direction. Though he couldn't see, his expression was quite content. My sister didn't dare to speak, while Minute-Shi silently drank his wine. This fish is quite good, Ning Wang remarked. Suddenly, I felt that Prince Ning might not be as solemn as he appeared. After the meal, I went back to my room to fetch something. After leaving the small courtyard, I saw Minute-Shi standing under the lush peach tree. When he saw me, his expression was filled with sorrow. Ali, I'm sorry, I don't want to talk to him anymore. So I walk around him. I do like you. But no matter what, the mistake has already been made. I'm sorry for what I did to you. He chases after me to explain. I'll do anything to make it up to you. I stop and look at him. I want you to apologize with your life. Right now. He froze. Then you better keep your mouth shut and hide that crown of deception well. I no longer looked at him, passing through the path to the front courtyard. As for Minute-Shi, after our engagement, I had felt a flutter in my heart. He was talented and handsome, and he said he adored me. During those long, sleepless nights, I had secretly fantasized about a future with him. But that thin layer of affection vanished into nothingness the moment the bridal veil was lifted the night before. Some people are simply not worth it. Madam, Prince Ning was waiting for me at the door. I quickened my pace, and he reached out his hand, asking me to hold it. I'm not familiar with the paths in your home, so I must trouble you, madam. I took Prince Ning's hand, and we walked out together. We walked very slowly, and Prince Ning seemed to be in a rather good mood on the way back. For some reason, the single-person sedan chair was replaced by a carriage. The Prince of Ning explained to me. The sedan bearers had family matters to attend to, so I sent them back. The Prince of Ning's residence had no sedan bearers, but the Jiang residence did. The thought flashed through my mind, and I smiled in agreement. Where is the footstool? The Prince of Ning stood by the carriage, but the coachman and the attendant Liren stood motionless like wooden statues. I could only step forward and help Prince Ning into the carriage. Prince Ning was in a good mood and even bought some pastries along the way. Seeing his cheerful state, I cautiously asked, Your Highness, have you ever been deceived? What would you do if someone deceived you? It depends on the person and the matter, he replied. What if it's someone you're not familiar with? And the deception involves something significant, the Prince of Ning said calmly. Then we must make them pay the price. Oh, I was so frightened that I crushed the pastry in my hand. I remembered what my mother had said to me before I left. Before the prince finds out, have a child. By then, for the sake of the child's dignity, he will keep this secret. It seems I can only do as my mother says. For the sake of the whole family's lives, having a child must be done as soon as possible. What are you thinking about? Prince Ning suddenly asked me. The pastries are delicious. My face grew slightly warm, and I was afraid he would notice my thoughts. so I quickly changed the subject. Will the seventh prince be coming today? The Prince of Ning frowned. Does my wife like the seventh prince? He's clever and mischievous. Very adorable. Oh, he'll come, he said. In the afternoon, the seventh prince arrived just in time for dinner, sticking close to me to chat and play chess. In the evening, he even insisted on taking a walk in the courtyard. Your Highness has difficulty moving, so perhaps we should skip the walk. I didn't want to tire myself out too much. I needed to save my energy for the night. Madam, I have no difficulty moving. Prince Ning stood up, following along smoothly. Let's go for a walk. I glanced at Prince Ning in surprise. Seventh brother and I will hold on to second brother, the seventh prince said. That way. We won't have to worry about him falling. Three people strolled, circling left and right. After half an hour, the seventh prince began to complain of foot pain. Second brother, I can't walk anymore. Prince Ning called Liren over. Take him back. The seventh prince pouted and was carried away reluctantly. Madam, I'm not tired, Prince Ning said. Let's continue. All right. I didn't expect Prince Ning to be so enthusiastic about taking a walk. So I had no choice but to continue holding his hand as we strolled through the garden. But I really wanted to go back and rest earlier. Tonight is our wedding night, and his health is already poor. If he gets too tired, it will definitely have an impact. What is my lady thinking about? Prince Ning suddenly asked me. I was afraid your highness might be tired, I said with a smile. Shall we go back and rest? Prince Ning tilted his head slightly, his gaze seemingly falling on my face. Carrying a hint of curiosity, feeling uneasy again, I quickly changed the subject. In the end, it wasn't Prince Ning who was tired, it was me. After washing up, I forced myself to stay alert. Your Highness, it's time to rest. I placed his pillow on the bed, but unfortunately, he couldn't see it. So I could only hint at him with words. All right. Prince Ning poured himself some tea to drink, and I hurriedly lay down on the inner side of the bed, but in the blink of an eye, I actually fell asleep. Waking up in the morning, Prince Ning was not there. Suejuan. I hurriedly got out of bed, lifted the bedding, and looked at the clean sheets in frustration. It seems we didn't consummate the marriage. What should we do then? Suejuan is the same age as me and doesn't understand these things. I should have asked my mother what to do when sharing a room. Shall I quietly go outside the mansion to ask the old women for advice? I think that's a good idea. It's never a bad thing to ask when you don't understand. When Suejuan returned at noon, she was carrying a bag of loaches and mysteriously told me, that old lady said it's good for men to eat these. These were freshly bought today. Your Highness, please have more. During dinner, I served Prince Ning a few pieces of loach. He took a bite and raised an eyebrow. What made you think of buying this? Prince Ning asked, directing his question to Nanny Wang. It was Miss Suejuan who brought it back. And the lady ordered the kitchen to cook it for the prince, said Nanny Wang. The prince has never eaten such filthy things before. Should I take it away? Nanny Wang gave me a meaningful look. She clearly knew the effects of the loach. I wondered if Prince Ning knew about its effects. Suddenly, I regretted having the kitchen prepare this bowl of loach today. I had acted too hastily. I lowered my head to drink the soup. My face flushed so red that I dared not look up. It's fine. The taste is excellent. Prince Ning glanced in my direction again. Thank you, madam. I tugged at the corner of my mouth. After lunch, I had planned to rest, but Prince Ning brewed a pot of tea under the tree. It's been a long time since I practiced swordplay. Would madam like to watch? I was taken aback. Why would he suddenly think of practicing swordplay? Isn't it said that his health is not good? Prince Ning took the sword and began to dance. His movements were graceful, flowing like clouds and water. I recalled that before he lost his sight, he was both talented in literature and martial arts, exceptionally outstanding. Once, my father came home after drinking some wine and told us that Prince Ning was poisoned precisely because he was too outstanding. overshadowing the crown prince. I sighed softly. Though born into the royal family, enjoying fine clothes and sumptuous food, the troubles, responsibilities, and risks they bear are far greater than those of ordinary people like us. Prince Ning took a break, and I brought over a teacup, saying, "I'll have someone prepare some hot water for you to wash up. Thank you for your trouble." Prince Ning nodded and sat with me under the tree. Suddenly, he asked, "Your birthday is in a few days, isn't it? How would you like to celebrate?" I had forgotten, but I didn't expect him to remember. "A bowl of longevity noodles will do, it's just a small birthday. Nothing to fuss about." The Prince of Ning said nothing more. Back in the room, he went to bathe. I noticed his change of clothes was still outside, so I opened the door and called for Liren, who usually stood guard outside but was nowhere to be found today. Should I take them in? I hesitated outside the bathing chamber. We haven't even consummated the marriage. Would he think I'm being too forward? There was no sound from inside. Gritting my teeth, I knocked on the door. "Your Highness, shall I bring in your change of clothes?" He didn't reply to me immediately, and in that moment, I already regretted being too impulsive. But before I could react, he had already whispered softly, "Thank you, madam." I took a deep breath, pushed open the door, and saw Prince Ning sitting in the bathtub with his back to me. His shoulders, rising above the edge of the tub, were broad and straight, and his skin seemed quite fair. I glanced hastily and quickly averted my gaze. "Madam," Prince Ning's voice was gentle and soft, "just place the clothes by my hand." "Yes." I lowered my head and walked over, my heart pounding wildly. Just as I was about to retreat, Prince Ning suddenly said, "Take your time, madam." I wasn't sure if it was my imagination, but his voice seemed to carry a hint of laughter. I felt even more embarrassed, not daring to respond to him. He came out, holding a handkerchief in his hand, looking around for me. "Madam, I'm here." I was about to find an excuse to leave, but he called out to me, so I had to respond. He said, "Please, madam, help me call for Nanny Wang." I casually asked, "What does your Highness need?" He shook the handkerchief in his hand and pointed to his hair. My heart warmed. "Let me help you dry it." He laughed, his smile light and bright. "All right, thank you, madam." Prince Ning's hair was very fine, smooth as satin when combed down. I deliberately tried to make conversation with him, hoping to become more familiar with each other. "Does Wang Mema usually attend to your Highness's daily needs?" "Yes. Wang Mema and Liren attend to me." Prince Ning seemed somewhat troubled. "Wang Mema is getting old, and she mentioned a while ago that she wants to retire to the countryside. Liren is also about to start a family. I plan to select 2 more people to serve me closely. The madam should also keep an eye out for me," said Prince Ning. "Nanny Wang is only 40 and already retiring with honor. After all, this is the royal household, the treatment is much more generous." "Oh." I pondered for a moment, "then let Nanny Wang retire with honor. As for the close personal service in the room, I can handle some of that as well. This way, I can quickly become closer to him. Then consummating the marriage would be a natural next step." Prince Ning paused, turning his head slightly. "Taking care of me will be very tiring. We are husband and wife. Even if it is tiring, it is only right," I said softly. "Besides, your Highness is already able to take care of yourself. I don't think it will be too tiring." Prince Ning fell silent for a moment. Just as I thought he would not speak again, he suddenly said, "All right, then we won't look for anyone for now. Thank you for your hard work, madam." Nanny Wang seemed eager to leave the royal residence. We had just discussed it with the prince at noon, and by evening, she had packed her belongings and came to bid me farewell with a bow. I wondered why she was leaving at this time. Was she unwilling to stay even one more night? But I'm not familiar with her, so I can't ask any unnecessary questions. "You've worked hard taking care of the prince all these years, madam." I had Suejuan reward her with a bag of money. "The prince's mansion will always be your home. You can come back anytime." Madam Wang choked up. I've been taking care of the prince since he was born. I spent the whole afternoon writing down his preferences, and they're all recorded in this booklet." She handed the booklet to Tsuejuan. "From now on, I'll have to trouble you, princess consort. No wonder you're leaving at this time. It turns out you've been noting down Prince Ning's preferences all afternoon." Nanny Wang left, looking back every few steps. Just as I was giving instructions for dinner, Liren also came to find me, saying, "I need to go home to get married. It will take about half a month before I can return." I was quite surprised. Was the date just set? It was never mentioned before. "No, it was decided last year," he said. I didn't ask further and also rewarded him with a bag of money, urging him to return early. "The prince can't do without you." Liren gave me a somewhat aggrieved look and nodded in agreement. He bowed and took his leave, muttering as he walked, "So urgent. Where am I supposed to find someone to marry?" "What?" I didn't catch it clearly. "Nothing. I'll take my leave." Liren jogged away. Once they were gone, every detail of the matters concerning the Prince of Ning fell entirely on me. Even the task of writing letters in the study fell to me. I hesitated a bit. "Am I capable of handling such matters?" Prince Ning smiled and said, "I recall that both you and your sister are known as talented women in the capital." I had no choice but to brace myself and sit across from him, helping him read and reply to letters. Regarding Minister Cai's letter, Prince Ning paused. "Tell him that if he wishes to return to the capital, it would be better to wait until after the rainy season. This way, he can avoid the risk of floods during the plum rains and ensure he doesn't neglect his duties while still in office." "Does Madam enjoy eating flour cakes?" I shook my head. "Then have him send some flour cakes, along with some newly released fabrics and women's hairpins. Brother Liu has gone to the frontier." Prince Ning sighed. "Reply to him that I am doing well and wish him safety." I acknowledged. "Does the lady enjoy eating milk candy?" he asked me. "I've never had it." "Then have him bring back some milk candy." The pen in my hand paused slightly. "You need not go to such trouble, Your Highness," I whispered. "Everything can be bought in the capital." His kindness was meant for my sister. If he were to find out in the future that his affection had been misplaced, he would surely be heartbroken and angry. He suddenly walked over, bent down in front of me, and smiled warmly. "Just now, my lady said we are husband and wife, so there is no need to be so polite." I couldn't help but laugh. "You're right, I was overthinking it." He looked up. "Would you like to go for a walk, my lady? The peonies in the garden have bloomed recently. I can accompany you to admire them. In previous years, my sister and I would always go to see them, but this year I don't feel like going. I'm afraid of running into acquaintances who might recognize us, but I don't want to miss the chance to spend time with him. People are emotional beings. The more time you spend together, the more memories you create, and the deeper the bonds become. The peony garden is not close, so we take the same carriage. When we arrive at the peony garden, there are still not many people here to admire the flowers. Wearing a veil hat and holding Prince Ning's hand, I wander among the flowers, and my mood lightens along the way. This is the deer peony. I introduce the flowers to Prince Ning, and this is the male red. Although Prince Ning cannot see, he listens very attentively. "What is the one we have at home?" "The one at home is the mouse peony," I said with a smile. "You are still the most attentive, my lady," said Prince Ning. "Tomorrow, we will add some more to the house, so you can enjoy the flowers in your leisure time at home." Speaking of peonies, I also became excited. "Really? Then can I also raise some camellias?" Prince Ning seemed to be infected by my enthusiasm as well. "My lady, the prince's mansion is your home. Even if you wanted to raise cows, no one would dare to say a word." I burst out laughing. "Then I'll really raise cows. Then I'll build you a cowshed." I laughed for a long time, and he watched me with a smile, pausing before saying, "I thought about it, and I might still have to object to the cowshed. It's too smelly. How about building you a greenhouse instead?" "A greenhouse is good. I've always wanted one. He smiled with pursed lips. I had always wanted a flower room back at my parents' home, but the house was small, and the whole family lived in such cramped conditions that there was no extra space for me to tend to flowers and plants. Prince Ning tilted his head and smiled at me, as if also infected by my joy. What other flowers does my lady like? I'll help you find them all. I really listed quite a few for him, then felt I had gotten carried away. If only I could get some six-cornered red. Coincidentally, my friend has one. Really, of course. I happily hugged him. Thank you, Your Highness. His body stiffened, and although he didn't return the hug, he was in a good mood and kept laughing. I was in an even better mood, but then I suddenly thought of Minachi. If I were to marry him, he definitely wouldn't build me a greenhouse, because his garden was also very small. Thinking of this, I sobered up again. The sword of deceiving the emperor still hung over my head, yet I was actually relieved to have married into the prince's mansion and obtained the flower room I had always dreamed of. Is my lady unhappy? Prince Ning asked me. I was taken aback, amazed at his keen perception, unable to see, yet able to sense the changes in others' emotions. I was about to explain when I suddenly heard someone call out, Jiang Yang. Jiang Yang, what a coincidence running into you here today. It was my sister's good friend Zhao Tsongyu, whose father served as a censor in the censorate. Zhao Tsongyu used to visit our home often to see my sister, but she had never been particularly warm toward me. Feeling the strength of his returning grip, I realized I had unconsciously tightened my hold on Prince Ning's hand. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly loosened my grip. Turning around to greet Zhao Tsongyu in a tone that mimicked my sister's, greetings to the prince and princess. Zhao Tsongyu's personality is much like her sister's, straightforward and lively. After paying her respects, she came over to talk to me. This is the first time I've seen you wearing a hat, I smiled and said. The sun is strong, so I'm covering up a bit. Oh, Zhao Tsongyu glanced at Prince Ning, thinking he couldn't see, and leaned in to whisper in my ear. Is Prince Ning treating you well? I nodded. Hehe. Zhao Tsongyu lowered her voice. Yesterday, I saw Minachi arguing with your sister and was worried about you. Fortunately, you didn't marry Minachi. Let me tell you, he has a mistress outside, and now your sister is going to be worried. I was stunned. Does Minachi have someone else outside? He always prides himself on being noble. How could he do such a dirty thing? You always said your sister was lucky, but in my opinion, her luck is not as good as yours. Hehe. I forced a smile and replied to her. I'm not aware of Minachi's situation yet. I'll have to ask my parents when I get home. It's just too much for something like this to happen right after getting married. You should ask, Zhao Tsongyu said, then turned to respond to her companion's call. After bidding us farewell, she took a few steps before remembering something and came closer again. I'll come visit you at the palace another day. With that, she gave Ning Wang a deep look, lifted her skirt, and ran off into the distance. I watched her retreating figure and began to worry. There would be many more such incidents in the future, and over time, the truth could not be concealed forever. What's wrong? Prince Ning squeezed my hand. Has something happened to your sister? Should we go check on her? Before I could go look for my sister, I ran into her right at the entrance of the peony garden. After paying respects, my sister pulled me aside. Why are you and the prince here? We arrived early in the morning. I frowned. Did Zhao Tsongyu invite you here? My sister nodded. Are you out of your mind? I wanted to pry open her head and see what was inside. Jiang Li and Zhao Tsongyu aren't close. She invited you, and you just came. My sister was unconvinced. I wanted to come and enjoy the flowers myself. Besides, I've come every year before. Why can't I come this year? Trembling with anger, I gripped her wrist and pulled her a few steps away. Tell me, did you ever discuss the plan to switch marriages with Zhao Tsongyu? I suspected Zhao Tsongyu had done it on purpose. She had someone invite my sister just after she bumped into me, but she wasn't close to Jiang Li, who was supposed to marry Minachi. So there was no reason for her to invite her. How could that be? My sister's eyes flickered. I've even kept it from our parents and brother. How could I possibly tell anyone else? After 16 years as sisters, I know exactly what she's thinking just by the way her eyes move. Jiang Yang, I grit my teeth. If there weren't so many people around, I'd slap you to death right now. Jiang Li, you've become quite bold since becoming a princess, haven't you? Go ahead, try slapping me. Do you believe I'll tell Prince Ning right now? Jiang Yang straightened her back and stiffened her neck. That's just her nature. Once her temper flares up, she doesn't care about anything. I was so angry I felt dizzy. Have you completely lost your mind? This is deceiving the emperor, deceiving the emperor. I couldn't help but choke up. Think about our parents. Think about our older brother. Think about our little brother. I beg you, please come to your senses, okay? Jiang Yang looked away and said nothing. I knew she had taken it to heart, so I softened my tone again. Hurry home, and don't go out again until I've calmed the prince down. All right, all right. Jiang Yang glared at me, so annoying. She stormed out of the garden gate in a huff. She left, but my heart remained tense. I quickly turned to look around and indeed caught a glimpse of a fleeting crimson skirt under the corridor. My heart grew cold as well. Zhao Tsungyu knew the marriage exchange had succeeded, and she knew I was Jiang Li. I called Suizhuan over and entrusted this matter to her. First, go find my brother and have him figure out a way to keep my sister under control. If all else fails, tie her up at home. I understand, my lady. Even Kui Huan knows to be anxious and afraid, but Jiang Yang is like a block of wood. I really don't know where all the books she's read and the etiquette she's learned have gone over the years. Madam, Prince Ning called me, and I hurried over to take his hand. My sister asked me a few things, and I spoke with her a bit longer. I've kept you waiting, Your Highness. Prince Ning shook his head. It's fine. Once in the carriage, Prince Ning still did not let go of my hand. I stared blankly at the bustling street outside the thin curtain. My sister's nature cannot be restrained, but I looked at Prince Ning and sighed inwardly. Even if I were pregnant, it would only be known 2 months later. What if Zhao Tsungyu exposes me during these 2 months? Will the prince forgive our family then? Madam, Prince Ning whispered, has something happened at home? Do you need my help? It's just a small matter, I said lightly. If there's anything, tell me. We are husband and wife, and we should discuss and face everything together, big or small, Prince Ning said gently. My heart softened, and I almost blurted out the whole story about the arranged marriage, but I held back the words at the last moment. Just wait a little longer. Prince Ning works with high efficiency. I selected the location for the greenhouse, and the craftsmen began to arrive one after another. Prince Ning and I got busy together, discussing details every day. I discovered that our tastes are quite similar. No matter what unusual ideas I proposed, they were always met with his approval. Would it be okay to hang a painting here? I asked him. Sure, Prince Ning said with a smile. And hang a thin white gauze curtain at the entrance. I nodded. With the breeze gently swaying the curtain and the faint fragrance of flowers in the air, we can brew a pot of tea and sit right here. Wonderful. We both laughed. 2 days later, my brother came to see me at noon. He said that my sister was very well behaved and had stayed at home without going out. He also mentioned that Minute Shi had sent the woman outside away. It was a romantic affair from a few years ago, and there was some affection between them. But it didn't lead to an irreparable mistake. You can rest assured. What he meant was that Minute Shi had not had a physical relationship with that woman. So ending it was just that, ending it. How are things between you and the prince? My elder brother asked me. He was too embarrassed to ask if we had consummated the marriage, but the worry in his eyes was unmistakable. We get along quite well, I whispered, but we haven't consummated the marriage, since he cannot see, even if I wear less. I cannot tempt him. I hinted at it verbally once, but he either didn't hear it or didn't want to, and in any case, he didn't respond. I can't just throw myself at him, and besides, I wouldn't know how. Brother, I whispered, could you quietly help me hire a courtesan to teach me? My brother tapped my head. No, you are the precious daughter of our Jiang family. How can you associate with those kinds of people? Even in death, we must face it with dignity. My elder brother left in disappointment, and I let out a heavy sigh. Madam, Prince Ning called out to me in the garden. I hurried over, and he asked, has Lord Jiang left? I confirmed it. He asked me, is it about the Minute family matter? No, he just came to see me. I interrupted, Your Highness. Let's go take a look at the timber. Disappointment flashed across his face, but he didn't press further. On the 7th day of the greenhouse construction, someone arrived from the palace. Consort Liang invited the prince and me to enter the palace. I met Consort Liang for the first time, but my sister had seen her once before. That time, my sister came back unhappy, saying that Consort Liang was harsh and disliked people wearing scented powder, so she scolded my sister in front of many people. I had also heard about Consort Liang's character, and indeed, her temper was very bad, and the relationship between her and her son was not good either. I heard that Prince Ning had been blind for 2 years, and he only went to the palace to pay his respects during festivals each year. Usually, he neither participated in court affairs nor entered the palace. Entering Changchun Palace, I met Consort Liang. She was beautiful, but there was indeed a sharpness in her eyes and brows that suggested she was not easy to get along with. Have a seat. Has your foot injury healed? She asked me. I answered yes. Consort Liang beckoned me to sit beside her. Once I was seated, she looked me over carefully and said, somehow, I feel you look a little different today compared to last time. My heart skipped a beat. Perhaps I've gained a little weight. I had deliberately imitated my sister's usual way of doing my eyebrows and eyes today. Could Consort Liang really tell the difference after only seeing her once? It's not about weight, Consort Liang said. It's that your eyes and brows look more docile. That's good, it's much more pleasing to the eye. I should be. Did you two have a fight? Consort Liang suddenly changed the subject and gave Prince Ning a meaningful glance. Prince Ning spoke first. We are doing well. No need for you to worry. Mother, then why haven't you consummated the marriage yet? Consort Liang suddenly raised her voice. Is it because you can't? Or is she unwilling? The Prince of Ning's face darkened. You're meddling too much, he said, rising to his feet. Madam, let's go, Song Jingyi. I haven't finished speaking. Ignoring her, the Prince of Ning extended his hand toward me. I hadn't expected them to argue. Hurriedly, I stood up to follow the Prince of Ning, but Consort Liang angrily said, let him go, Jiang Yang, stay. I haven't finished speaking. I am in a dilemma. It's my fault. Prince Ning said with a stern face. What else do you want to know? Consort Liang stood up abruptly. The matrons in Changchun Palace quickly closed the palace doors and even sealed the windows tightly, eyes failing, body failing too. Consort Liang stopped before Prince Ning. The crown prince already has 4 sons. Can't you strive to be more promising? Prince Ning sneered coldly. How did you lose your sight? If you won't investigate or seek revenge, fine. But now you're married, you don't even dare to consummate the marriage and have a son. Song Jingyi, you're too cowardly. You're nothing but a weakling. I stared at Consort Liang in astonishment, never having imagined that she would think of this as the reason why Prince Ning had not consummated the marriage. Think whatever you wish, Prince Ning said coldly. His voice was not only cold but also carried a heartbreaking disappointment. I stepped forward and took his hand, wanting to offer him some comfort. He was taken aback for a moment, then returned the gesture by holding my hand. I'll give you 3 months. Consort Liang said, addressing me, if you don't conceive by then, I'll arrange concubines for him, 1 if not enough, then 10, 10 if not enough, then 100. I opened my mouth but said nothing. I'll say it one more time, Prince Ning stated, word by word. My affairs are my own to decide. He opened the door and led me out of Changchun Palace. Basking in the sun, I finally felt warmth all over my body. I don't know if it was because of the quarrel between Prince Ning and Consort Liang, but in the afternoon, the Crown Prince sent an invitation. It was for the full-month celebration of his fourth son. I prepared a gift and asked the prince if I could not attend. I won't go either, Prince Ning said casually. Just send the gift. I breathed a sigh of relief and then sent Suejuan to deliver a message to my sister, forbidding her from attending the banquet at the Crown Prince's residence with Minute Shi. In the afternoon, the Crown Prince's steward came personally to invite us, but Prince Ning also declined. The steward left with a grim expression. The next day, I received news that my sister had gone with Minute Shi. She's gone mad. I grabbed Suejuan's hand. Go find her now. Tell her to go back to her parents' home. I waited at my parents' home for half a day, but my sister still hadn't returned, furious. I smashed her favorite vase. My mother cried and held me. I'll go find her this afternoon. I'll beat her for you. Mother, I said, what on earth is she thinking? Does she want me dead? What do you mean I want you dead? My sister rushed in. The Crown Prince has sent an invitation, asking us as a couple to attend. How can I not go? I slapped her across the face. My sister was also furious. You hit me again. Do you think I don't dare to fight back? My mother and Suejuan worked together to separate us. I rolled up my sleeves, revealing the scar on my arm. Are you my sister? You caused a huge mess by recklessly arranging a marriage exchange, and I've been trying to clean up after you. Can't you think of me for once? Have you forgotten about this scar? My sister froze in place, the anger on her face instantly dissipating. I forgot about that. She tried to come over and help me up, muttering softly, I really forgot. You should have reminded me first. I was so angry that I slumped into the chair. This scar was made by the Crown Prince with a sword. On our wedding night, Prince Ning asked me how I knew he had a good temper. I said that during the meal at Janheuan, when the waiter carelessly spilled soup on him, he didn't get angry. My sister and I were also there that day. That day, the Crown Prince was drunk. As he passed by our private room, he saw me and was immediately captivated by my appearance. He came over and tried to pull me, so I hit him with a teacup. He drew his sword and was about to kill me. Coincidentally, Prince Ning happened to pass by our door. He couldn't see, but he heard the Crown Prince's voice and called out, Is my elder brother here too? The Crown Prince, afraid that Prince Ning would find out he was causing trouble, suppressed his anger and said, What are you doing here? The waiter was clumsy and splashed my clothes. Prince Ning tugged awkwardly at his wet robe. Who are you with, elder brother? It sounds quite lively. The Crown Prince glanced at Prince Ning's attire, the wariness in his eyes fading. He casually tossed aside his sword and walked off with Prince Ning as if nothing had happened. I was rescued from the situation and returned home through the back door. The Crown Prince was drunk that day and probably didn't know which family's daughter I was. Or perhaps he knew my identity but didn't want the matter to escalate and tarnish his reputation, so the incident was quietly dropped. But my resentment was deep, and my sister and the family were well aware of it. How can you be so sure that the Crown Prince won't recall that day when he sees your face? I asked my sister. I said I was wrong. My sister also began to cry. Besides, I didn't see the Crown Prince yesterday. The women and men were separated. My sister was also frightened when she thought about that day. Jiang Yang, I hope you'll use your head. Right now, every step we take is like walking on thin ice. Even if not for the family, think about yourself, my sister muttered. Actually, I regret it too. Both my mother and I looked at her. She hung her head and choked back sobs, saying, Minute Shi is not a good match. He has other women outside, and his character is not as upright as he appears. If I had known he was this kind of person, I would never have agreed to the marriage exchange. She mumbled to herself, I want to divorce him, but I feel it would be embarrassing. Besides, I don't want him to have it easy. Even if we divorce, I'll make sure he suffers." My mother and I stared at her in stunned silence. "You should thank me for the marriage swap," she glared at me. "If you had married him, you would have endured it silently and been bullied by him every day. So don't hate me either. We're even." Mother sent the household steward to accompany my sister back to her husband's home. The steward reports my sister's affairs to me every day. She behaved well for 3 days without going out, but after just 3 days, she accepted Zhao Songyu's visiting card and invited Zhao Songyu to her home to play. I had the steward warn my sister, but she didn't take it seriously. Another day later, the steward came back to tell me that my sister had argued with Minute Shi and scratched his face. The mistress the young master keeps outside is pregnant. The steward sighed. The eldest young lady doesn't agree to the young master taking a concubine. They argued first, and then it turned into a fight. The more I listened, the more my head ached. Didn't you remind her to have her elder brother step in, just after getting married? Minute Shi wants to take a concubine. This shows he has no regard for the Jiang family, or even the Prince of Ning's household, so having her elder brother intervene would be appropriate. The old master took the initiative to find the son-in-law, who originally agreed, but the eldest aunt, for some reason, actually had someone drug that vixen. When the son-in-law found out, he said the eldest aunt was vicious and angrily insisted on bringing the vixen back into his room. I was taken aback. It was typical of my sister to go and beat someone up, but poisoning was something she wouldn't think of. I frowned. Where did she get that kind of poison? This poison is only found in the red light district. Respectable households cannot obtain it. The steward shook her head, saying she didn't know either. "Go tell my brother to keep an eye on Zhao Songyu. It's almost certain that she gave this poison to my sister." I paused and whispered, "And don't let Zhao Songyu meet with my sister anymore." The steward acknowledged and left. "Madam," the Prince of Ning entered, and I gathered my thoughts to greet him. He frowned. "Why are your hands so cold?" I helped him sit down. "The weather is getting hot, so I wanted to have ice brought into the room." The Prince of Ning paused for a moment, saying nothing. "What's wrong?" I asked him. "Do you have something to tell me?" he asked me. My nose tingled with a sour feeling, both angry and aggrieved. But I couldn't guess how he would react if he found out. I couldn't bear that risk. "I'm fine." Prince Ning released my hand, his expression indifferent as he sipped his tea. I didn't know what to say either. After a moment, he sighed, set down his teacup, and patted my head. "Aren't we husband and wife?" For some reason, my grievances swelled in that instant, and I couldn't help but choke back a sob. "Yes, if you say so, that's fine." He pulled me into his embrace and gently patted me. "Don't be afraid, I won't live much longer." My heart skipped a beat, but Prince Ning said nothing more. 2 days later, on my and my sister's birthday, I received Zhao Songyu's gift and visiting card. I turned her down. "Have you found anything?" I met with my elder brother. "Does the Zhao family have no weaknesses? We need to plan ahead to prevent the Zhao family from using this matter to their advantage." "Yes," my brother said, "if they dare to speak out. My father and I can immediately make sure they have no place to be buried." I nodded. "First, send mother and our younger brother to Jiangnan. I plan to confess to the prince in the next few days." "Sure." My father, my elder brother, and I all felt that we could no longer keep the matter hidden. No matter how the prince decides to deal with us, we accept it. But unexpectedly, 2 days later, Zhao Songyu's father was exposed for abusing his power and bending the law for personal gain. He was convicted and sentenced, and the Zhao family moved away from the capital altogether. None of us in our family had expected this outcome. "What a coincidence," my brother muttered. "We don't need to do anything. I always felt something was off. Let's talk about it during the Dragon Boat Festival." My brother said to me, "You come home for dinner, and our whole family will apologize to the prince together, begging for his forgiveness," mother said. I've noticed the prince treats Ali quite well. Perhaps he won't pursue the matter. I agreed as well. On the day of the Dragon Boat Festival, I returned to my parents' home to deliver festival gifts and once again encountered Minachi in the backyard. He stopped me, saying he regretted it, that my sister had a bad temper and was not as steady and clever as I was. Jiang Li, I know you and the prince haven't consummated the marriage, Minachi said. The prince originally intended to marry Jiang Yang. Why don't you and your sister switch back? As long as we switch back, all the conflicts and dangers will be resolved. I looked at Minachi in disbelief. Aren't you unwilling to consummate the marriage with the prince just to keep yourself for me? Minachi tried to reach for my hand, his eyes filled with deep affection. Jiang Li, don't be afraid. As long as we switch back, the things you fear will disappear. Minachi. I picked up a stone from the ground and threw it at him haphazardly. Have all your books of sages and worthies gone to the dogs? What do you take my Jiang family for? And what do you take us sisters for? Minachi's head was broken by my blow, blood streaming down his face. Cuejuan, go call my brother and father. I pointed at Minachi. If he doesn't apologize to my sister today, we'll perish together. Why call for father and brother? We sisters can finish him off today. My sister ran over, grabbing a bamboo pole used for tying melon vines along the way, and started whipping Minachi all over his face and head. Just because you passed the imperial exam as the top scholar, you think you're so high and mighty. Why don't you take a look at yourself in the mirror? How dare you cause trouble in our home? If I don't beat you to death today, I'm not Jiang Yang. Sister chased after Minachi. Minachi, wiping the blood from his face, was chased by his sister all over the yard. I let out a burst of laughter, but when I turned around and saw the person not far away, I couldn't laugh anymore. Your Highness, I whispered softly. I sat before Prince Ning, carefully placing a cup of cool tea into his hand. He did not drink it, his face remaining stern and tense. I have said all that needs to be said, I murmured quietly. Whether you choose to kill me or cut me to pieces, I leave it to your judgment. Even though I said that, I still sat next to him, carefully tugging at his sleeve. He set down the teacup with a clink. Did you hit Minachi just now? I nodded. Yes, I hit him once. His focus is so strange. Your aim is off. Next time I'll take you to practice. Okay, good, I nodded, trying to guess his thoughts. He still kept a straight face. Are you very sad that you didn't marry him? I shook my head. No, I'm glad that I married the prince, not him. He curled the corner of his mouth. Really, absolutely true. Sensing he wasn't looking to hold me accountable, I quickly seized the opportunity and grabbed his hand. I like your highness. He twitched the corner of his mouth, then suppressed it and withdrew his smile. I didn't notice your affection. I asked you so many times what was on your mind, and you never said. I didn't dare to say it. You said you weren't afraid of me. He said, it's not exactly fear, more like a guilty conscience, I said, looking at him. I'm sorry. Can you forgive us? He pushed my hand away, but not with much force. I heard that before the wedding. You liked Minachi. I felt guilty and whispered softly. I don't really like him either. It's just that after the engagement, I couldn't help but fantasize about the future. Didn't your highness also like my sister? I muttered. I was worried you might have misplaced your affections and would be even more embarrassed and angry. He was so angry he laughed. When have I ever liked your sister? You were originally supposed to marry her. Being good to me is just being good to her, I said quietly. I don't mind that much either. Let's just be fair, no one brings up the past. He showed a look of being torn between laughter and tears. When have you ever heard me call you Jiang Yang? I shook my head. He indeed never called me by name. So you knew from the very first day. I looked at him. Why didn't you say anything? Say it and then send you back. Just to help you and Minachi get together, he retorted. I stared at him in astonishment. Why do you think that? I asked, and then suddenly it dawned on me. He was a prince. if he found out about the mistaken marriage, given his status, he would definitely have to make a decision. But swapping me and my sister back was certainly not an option, especially since my sister and she, however, being deceived by our entire family, he might be able to tolerate it. But his status would not allow him to, so the best way to handle it was to pretend not to know and just accept it, even if it meant holding his nose. But this method has a prerequisite: he must not mind marrying me, so it doesn't matter to you whether you marry me or my sister. I asked him, you accepted willingly once you knew I was Jiang Li, so the reason he never consummated the marriage was because he knew I wasn't my sister, but he didn't like me either, so he kept delaying. My heart felt sour, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what exactly I was feeling. He looked at me and asked, do you think I'm the kind of person who doesn't care who I marry? I shook my head. That wasn't it. But I still couldn't understand. Then your behavior doesn't make sense. You care about who you marry, yet you stay silent after realizing you married the wrong person. Unless he had wanted to marry me from the very beginning. The Prince of Ning suddenly stood up. It's getting late. Let's go have lunch. He got up and walked out, stepping over the threshold and down the stairs. I followed him out, and after walking a dozen steps, I suddenly thought of something. Stop. I blocked his path, and he halted. Second miss, what are your orders? I tugged at my own clothes. What color am I wearing today? He was walking very smoothly just now. I suspect he can see. I suddenly began to doubt him as well. I am blind, he told me earnestly. I cannot see. I waved my hand in front of his eyes, but he truly showed no reaction. Can you really not see? I said. He took my hand. Let's go. My sister and she returned to the Minute family. I told my family that the Prince of Ning knew about the marriage swap. My parents and brother wanted to kneel and apologize, but the Prince of Ning comforted them. The matter with the Prince of Ning's mansion. The Prince of Ning attended the Crown Prince's funeral and then returned home, closing the gates of his mansion and spending his days with me, tending to the flowers. In September, Minute was utterly disgraced, and my sister divorced him. Whenever she had free time, she would come to the Prince of Ning's residence to see me, saying she felt bored staying home alone and inviting me to visit our maternal grandparents' house for a few days. I wanted to go. I was leaning outside the greenhouse, basking in the sun, when the Prince of Ning arrived with Physician Wang. I opened my eyes and looked at them. What's wrong? Is someone ill? Your humble servant is here to check your Highness's pulse for your well-being. Congratulations, Your Highness, and to you, Madam. This is a joyous sign. Madam is 2 months pregnant, Chief Physician Wang said with a smile. I suddenly became fully awake. No wonder I've been so drowsy lately. I never expected to be pregnant again. Is it advisable for her to go out and move around so early in the pregnancy? Prince Ning asked Chief Physician Wang. Indeed, Chief Physician Wang, always astute and perceptive, replied, she should rest more and spend more time with the child's father. This will help stabilize the pregnancy. The Prince of Ning nodded. Thank you for your trouble. I'll invite you for tea another day. I dare not. Chief Physician Wang left with a beaming smile. I leaned back in the chair, looking at the Prince of Ning with a half-smile. Chief Physician Wang is truly a remarkable person. He is a remarkable doctor. The Prince of Ning crouched in front of me, gently touching my belly. You must listen to the doctor's advice. I poked his face and glared at him. In the evening, Consort Liang sent over a secret guide for having sons, along with many of the 7th Prince's little clothes, telling me to tuck them under my pillow to guarantee a son. Prince Ning stuffed them all into a chest. Don't listen to her. Even if you have a son, he won't listen to his mother. Daughters are better, they're obedient. Fine. Don't listen to your mother, then you'll have a daughter. He chuckled lightly. Extra chapter. Prince Ning, my mother and the Empress are cousins. They didn't get along even when they were in their maiden home. After marrying into the Crown Prince's residence, they competed with each other every day. But in the past, my mother was always the one who lost, until I was born. And she finally held her head high, when I was young, to make my mother happy.
I would always outdo the crown prince in everything I did, but as I grew up, I understood that the crown prince is the crown prince, and if I don't covet the throne, it's right to be on good terms with him. Later, I restrained myself and stopped listening to my mother. My mother was unhappy, but she could do nothing about it. A few years later, disappointed in me, she found a way to give birth to my seventh brother. After the birth of my seventh brother, I felt much more at ease, but the crown prince did not want to let me off. He poisoned me, and although I wasn't actually poisoned, I pretended to be blind. The crown prince indeed stopped, and I finally found peace. On New Year's Eve, I went to Janhaewan for a meal with friends. I heard the crown prince causing a drunken scene in the next room, along with a woman's voice, suppressed with fear and anger. I didn't want to get involved, but I ended up spilling soup all over myself and pretended to pass by the door of that room. The young girl was about 14 or 15, delicate and lovely, though clearly terrified. She stubbornly stood her ground against the crown prince. I helped her out of the situation and sat in the carriage, watching her hurriedly get into her sedan chair before I left. Liren said she was the second daughter of the Jiang family. The two daughters of the Jiang family are quite famous in the capital. The elder sister is bold and outspoken, while the younger sister is calm and steady. The elder sister often goes out to socialize with friends, but the younger sister prefers to stay at home. I didn't think much of it at first, but unfortunately, my father, the emperor, didn't consult me and arranged a marriage between me and the eldest daughter of the Jiang family. The younger daughter was betrothed to the newly appointed top scholar, Minute Shi. I secretly looked into it and found that the younger daughter seems to have some affection for Minute Shi. However, Minute Shi is not a suitable match. He prides himself on being a romantic and elegant gentleman, but he is known for his flirtatious behavior and numerous romantic entanglements outside. Given the younger daughter's temperament, she would surely suffer if she married him. I think it would be more appropriate for the second young lady to marry me, just as I was planning. The eldest Miss Jiang actually secretly interacted with Minute Shi, so I gave the eldest Miss Jiang a helping hand, but I was still uneasy, afraid that the second young lady liked Minute Shi too much and would be heartbroken, and that she would resent me for ruining her marriage when she married me in the future. So I went to the Jiang residence twice. She doesn't seem to particularly like Minute Shi either. It's mostly the innocent feelings of a young girl, filled with some anticipation but not yet understanding what love truly is. Such feelings will quickly be forgotten when she meets someone better. So I began preparing the bridal chamber according to the second young lady's preferences. On the wedding day, Miss Jiang successfully entered the Minute family's bridal sedan, while the second young lady came to the prince's mansion. The moment the veil was lifted, the second young lady's expression made my heart ache. The feeling of being betrayed by family is never easy to bear, but I couldn't say anything. What if, before things were settled, Minute Shi shamelessly insisted on switching back? If this matter were to blow up, I could scold them, keep the second young lady, and let it go. But the dignity of the royal family wouldn't allow me to just drop it. So I had no choice but to pretend I didn't know. The second young lady is quite interesting. She probably wants to consummate the marriage early and conceive a child, so she's actually giving me tonics. Is she afraid I'm not in good health? I performed a sword dance for her, and she could indeed tell that I'm in excellent health. There's absolutely no problem. The second young lady is being threatened, and that woman from the Zhao family is truly annoying. I thought she would ask for my help. But after waiting for a few days, she didn't say anything. I had no choice but to take the initiative. Ever since that woman from the Zhao family left the capital, the second young lady's mood has indeed improved a lot, and she gives me a smile every day. The second young lady is delicate and dainty, and she loves flowers very much. That day in the peony garden, seeing her so happy, I wished I could pluck the sun from the sky and offer it to her. The second young lady can also be fierce. When she hit her sister or picked up stones to throw at Minute Shi, her face was stern and menacing, but she has never been fierce to me. That day, seeing Minute Shi get beaten until his head was bleeding, I was in an extremely good mood. I always said, how could the second young lady take a liking to someone like Minute Shi? I couldn't wait any longer, so I deliberately let her discover me. She explained everything from the beginning. and seeing her carefully tugging at my sleeve. I wasn't angry to begin with, and now I couldn't even pretend to be. That day, we finally consummated our marriage. After waiting for so many days, she suffered every day, only feeling anxious in her heart, but I endured both physical and mental torment. However, the scar on her arm was glaring. I decided to take revenge on the Crown Prince for poisoning me. I've let him have his way for so many years, but I no longer want to yield. The second young lady was very happy. Following behind me with tender affection, she is happy, so I am happy. As long as she is happy, I am willing to do anything. As for the position of the Crown Prince, after hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.